Hello and welcome, everybody. Today we're going to have a discussion about a revival in our soul. So if you're interested, stay tuned. Okay, a revival in our soul. Now, for our soul to be revived, restored, repaired, renewed is a very important thing. But the focus is not that your soul should be in control of your spirit. Your spirit still need to be in control of your soul. But what I've realized is that if your spirit is in control of your soul and your soul is hurt, fragmented, destroyed, you've got problems in your soul. It is difficult to have a prosperous life. And remember, we had a look at it that we need to have a prosperous life, which is a very good thing. And we also looked at our conscience, the important part of our conscience. Now, our conscience is the part where our spirit man speak to us in our soul. So if we even if we hear the our spirit speak to our soul, but our soul is seared or is not properly in place, then meaning the way that we're going to handle things is going to be much different. So that is why we need a revival, a repair, restore, renewal in our soul. And the soul part is a very important part in the Bible, in our body, where we really need to focus on our mind, our intellect, our emotions, the way we think, we reason, and a lot of things in today's terms are focused on influencing our soul and our body. It is to cut out our spirit man, and our focus is to listen to our spirit man through our soul, that we can operate and we can function in our body the way God designed us. Now, many times, if I just think about David, how he had troubles with his soul, where even in Psalms, he wrote, "Oh, my soul, rejoice." He had to speak to his soul because his spirit is willing, but his soul is not willing. And a lot of times it feels like I know what it is to do the right thing. I want to do the right thing, but I'm just not able to do the right thing. I'm so maybe depressed. I'm so downcast. I'm so frustrated that I just don't want to do it. And that is one of the things that you know that your soul is in trouble and we need revival in our soul. Now, the idea about a revival in our soul is to allow God to renew, restore, basically to bring into the the plan that God had for our soul, the way God created us. Now, remember, our soul gets programmed by the things we see, we do, we learn. All of that programs our soul. And we need to be careful that our soul is programmed in a positive, godly way, not a negative, earthly way, full of darkness, full of all of the things that does not belong there. Now, it is very important that we walk with the Lord, because if we've got problems in our soul, a lot of times it starts with our priorities. Either something happened to us or our priorities weren't intact. Now, if something happened to you, let's say trauma happened to you, then you definitely need help from the Lord so that you get restoration in your soul. But also, a problem is if our priorities are not right, then we neglect the good things of our soul and we focus that our soul is in control. Now, why is our priorities a big thing? Well, one of the examples that I listened to that makes the most sense to me was there was one day a man that was a very successful businessman, but he didn't have time for his family, didn't have time for God, he didn't have time anything else because he made money and time equaled money. So everything that he did, he made sure that it is to do with making money. So he was successful in his own sight. Then he got cancer. Now the doctor said he needs to go for chemotherapy, he needs to go for all of those treatments, and suddenly he realized that the things that he deemed important in his life doesn't have a lot of meaning. So now the focus is to prioritize, because to get treatment for him in order to live is the first priority, not business anymore. So he rescheduled all of his activities that needed to be rescheduled, and the ones that weren't really important, he just canceled that. You see, so what happened? That guy realized that his priorities need to change in order to live. So we also need to do, if we have neglected, let's say, our quiet time where we can speak to the Lord and pray and just have a good relationship with the Lord. Let's say we neglected that. Then it is because our priorities is not straight. We do not value that. Let's say we are too busy. We say there's not time, but you have time to do all of the other things. And I really see the importance of being able to prioritize, to say, okay, today I must do this important thing, but is it more important than to spend time with God? Or what am I going to do? Well, maybe I'm going to wake up earlier. Maybe I'm going to reschedule. Maybe I'm going to spend time in the morning with the Lord and later during the day. So that is what I normally do, is I would shift my time around and just see how I can fit in everything. But yes, I am honest. The Lord told me I need to focus on my priorities, because some things that I deem as important is not that important. So I'm going to have to shift things around. Even my routine is going to be changed upside down because of the plans that the Lord has got for my life. And that is fine with me, because I do not say that I know everything that I need to know. I'm still clay in the hands of the Lord. I am molded and shaped because I believe the Lord knows better for my life. And remember, what is right for a season is not maybe right for everybody, because we are in different seasons in our lives with different circumstances. The one guy said, well, you can have two GPSs giving you completely different directions, but you will get at the same point. And the only way you can get that right is because your starting place is not the same. And that makes a lot of sense, because we need to realize God is taking us on a journey. Not everybody's at the same place, so not all of the instructions is going to be the same. But there's a lot that we can learn from one another, a lot that we can implement into our lives that's actually going to help us to grow, help us so that our soul, for instance, can be revived in a godly way, that it's restored to the plan that God has got for our souls. Our soul is not bad, but if our soul rules our spirit, that is not going to work out. Then you're going to start to be led by your feelings and desires, not by your spiritual influence that the Lord has given you. Your priorities is going to be changed upside down. When your spirit man is in control, your priorities most of the time is in good order, because the spirit will speak into your conscience and say, well, maybe you should not be doing this. Let's say I am watching movies 5 hours a day and I don't have time to study. I don't have time to pray. I don't have time to do things. And then the Spirit may tell me, well, maybe you need to switch here, change up there. I don't know. For you, for me, it is not always the same. That's why we need to listen to what our Spirit says, but not let our soul rule our spirit man. Father, I pray that you will help us, that we will have a revival in our soul, that our priorities will be replaced in order, renewed, how you want it, how we need it in our soul, Father. I pray that we will get breakthrough. I pray for depression to break. I pray for minds, mental illnesses to disappear, to heal up, to be clarified. I pray, Father, for a revival in our hearts, a revival in our midst, a revival because you are good, Lord. And I speak newness of life. Everybody watching today, that they will experience a newness of life. I thank you for your great mercy and your love, and I thank you for that. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Be blessed.